Hello everyone! In today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to make this granny square hood or a balaclava. I made a few of these in some of my vlogs and a few people asked for a tutorial, so that is what we will be doing today. I have to say it is a pretty cute and basic pattern, so let's go ahead and get started. For this tutorial today, we are going to need a 5mm crochet hook as well as a 6mm crochet hook. These are Clover Amour hooks. We're also going to need a tapestry needle and some scissors. For the yarn, we are going to be using some worsted weight acrylic yarn. I will specifically be using the Yarnspirations Granny All-in-One Square yarn from Red Heart. I like using the Granny All-in-One Square yarn because it makes a granny square without having to change your yarn. They look like this. They have multiple colors, but you don't have to buy this yarn if you don't want. You can just use any old worsted weight acrylic yarn. You can make it all one color. You can change colors in between rows if you'd like. You can do whatever you want, really, as long as you have some worsted weight acrylic. So I'm going to be using this yarn for the granny squares, and then I have this yarn right here, which is just a plain black to use whenever I am going to be connecting the squares as well as making the ribbing around the neck area. But once again, you can use any yarn you've got as long as it is a worsted weight or a 4-weight acrylic yarn. To start today, we are going to need the yarn we're going to use for our granny squares and our 6mm hook. Now, starting on our granny square here, we're going to do a pretty basic granny square. And I'm going to start with a magic circle. If you don't know how to make a magic circle, you can also just do a chain 4 and slip stitch to make a little circle. Or I have a tutorial on how to do the magic circle on my channel. From here, I'm going to start with a stacked single crochet. So I'm just going to do a single crochet into my magic loop. Go through the front leg right here on my single crochet. Go through there, and then I'll do another single crochet from here. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And that is my stacked single crochet. That is going to count as my first double crochet. So to make the first side of my granny square, I'm going to do 2 more double crochets. There's side 1, cluster of 3. Now I'm going to make a corner, so I'm going to chain 2. From here I want to make the next side of my square, so I need to do 3 double crochets. All into our magic circle here. Okay, now I need to make a corner, so I'm going to chain 2. Next side, I'm going to do 3 double crochets. Next, a corner, chain 2. Then I'm going to do our last side of the square, so I'm going to do 3 double crochets. And lastly, we have 1 corner left. I will be ending my corners on this project with a half double crochet. So I will wrap my yarn once. I'm going to do the half double crochet into the top of the first stitch that we did to start this round. So the top of my stacked single crochet right here. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3. And that kind of counts as our chain 2 that we did on all the other corners. And that's how we're going to end off on the row. So you should have a little square right now. Each side is going to have 3 double crochets, and each corner will have a chain 2, except for the last one, which has a half double crochet. From here, I'm going to chain 1, and we'll start on round 2. If you are going to do color changes, you should cut your yarn here and attach on a new color. If you need a more in-depth tutorial on these granny squares, I have a how to make granny squares video on my channel. In the video, I show you how to do a solid color as well as how to change colors if you need it. But moving on. I'm going to start this round with another stacked single crochet. I'm just going to be working right in here in this space. So I'm going to go through there and do a single crochet. I'm I'm going to go through the front leg and do another single crochet to create a stacked single crochet, and that counts as my first double crochet of the row. I want to do 2 more double crochets in this hole to create my first cluster of 3. There you go. Now I'm going to move over to my next chain 2 space, and we are going to do 3 double crochets right there. Just going right through the chain 2 spot. I did not chain 1 in between my clusters on the side. That's just a personal preference of mine. Now I need to make a corner, so I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to do 3 more double crochets in that same chain 2 spot. There you go. Moving on. Next chain 2 spot, I'm going to do the same thing. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Chain 2, 3 more double crochets in the same spot. Okay. Next, same thing, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. From here, I want this corner where we started to match all of my other corners. It already has 1 cluster of 3, so it just needs another cluster of 3 plus the chain 2 for the corner space. So I just need to do 3 more double crochets right here in the space where we started. Okay. To end the round, I'm going to do the half double crochet that we did in the last round. So I'll yarn over, go into the top of my first stitch of the round, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3, and there's my half double crochet. And that counts as the chain 2. So there's the second round of our square. Here's what it's looking like. Moving on to round 3. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to start the row with a stacked single crochet into this space right here. So that's a single crochet again through the front leg. And that counts as my first double crochet. I'm going to finish off my first cluster of 3, so I need 2 more double crochets. Working the rest of the granny square, every time you come to a side spot, we're just going to do 3 double crochets in here. Every time you come to a corner, which is obviously a corner, and it should have a chain 2 there, you're going to make another corner. So you're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Moving around, side spot, just 3, another corner, so on and so forth. So I have a side space right here, so I just need to do 3 double crochets. Next, there's a chain 2 spot and I'm on a corner, so I'm going to do the corner repeat, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Here we go. Side space, just 3 double crochets. Next, corner space, so do your corner repeat, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Okay, next. Just continue all the way around. Once you get back to the last space at the beginning, we're going to do the same thing we did last time. So I'm going to do 3 double crochets in the beginning space. Then I'm going to connect my round with a half double crochet into the top of the first stitch. There we go. Here's round 3. Round 4 is going to be the same. Every time you come to a side space, just do 3 double crochets. Every time you come to a corner, do your 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. Okay, that's the end of my row. We've done 4 rows and I'm about to start my next one. Row 5 is going to be the last row and you're going to do this one the same as all the others. On the corners, you're going to do your corner repeat. On the sides, you're just going to do 3 double crochets. Once you get all the way around, we will finish it off. Once you get to the end and you've done your last cluster, I want you to chain 1 and then go ahead and cut off your yarn with a bit of a tail, and we'll weave in our ends from here. So you can just take this and pull it straight out like that. Now grab your tapestry needle and thread your yarn up. From here, we're going to take our needle and we're going to go under the 2 loops on the top of the stitch that we started the round with. Just going to go right through there. Now we're going to take our needle and go down right through the center of the chain 1 that we ended the round with. And you see how that creates a little loop? That is going to act as the second chain in this corner piece right here. So now you can go ahead and weave in the rest of your yarn. And just flip it over to the back side and run it under some stitches. Also, sometimes to be extra secure, I will take the yarn and split it. Take one of the halves, loop it around some yarn close by, and then I take the two ends and tie them together. Once you've done that, you can just snip off the ends real close. And there's how you weave in the outside ends. Whenever you're weaving in the inside, put it on your tapestry needle. And the first thing you want to do is close up your inner circle. Make sure it's tight. And then we're going to take the yarn and we are going to run it under all of these stitches at least one more time, maybe even two more times. And what that's going to do is that is going to strengthen your magic circle because we do not want this to break open later. Okay, once you feel like you've done a good enough job, you can cut off your yarn. I am also going to once again split the yarn and tie the two ends together. And there we go. We finished our granny square. So in total we did 5 rows. For this project you are going to need 4 granny squares overall. So go ahead and make those and then we will start the assembly. I'm going to be switching over to my solid black yarn to put my granny squares together. And we will continue working with the 6mm hook for now. The first thing we are going to do is put 3 of them together. And then we'll put the 4th one on, and it's going to connect these sides right here and these sides, and then it will make like a little hood. But anyway, I'm going to pick my color layout, and this is what I'm going to go with. And I'll start with these 3. First, I'll take my black yarn. I'm going to make a slip knot and put that on my hook. Then I'm going to grab my 2 squares. I'll be connecting them right up this seam here. So I'm going to start down on this corner. If you made the granny squares right, each corner should have 2 chains. On this side, I'm going to start in the first chain. Just put my hook through there. And on this side, I want to start in the same chain. It's going to be 1 chain over from the first double crochet. And I am only going through the back loop. Okay? So right now on my hook, I have the slip stitch on my black yarn. I have the back loop of the first chain on this square. I have the back loop of the first chain on this square. Now, I'm going to take my yarn. I'm going to go through the back because that'll be the best place for it. And then I want to grab my yarn and pull through all of the loops on my hook. So I'm going to pull through this side, and the slip stitch. Okay. Moving on, I'm going to go into the back loop of my next stitch, which is going to be the first double crochet. Just go through the back loop here. on the right side, and then the same stitch on the left side, the back loop of the first double crochet. Yarn over, pull through that side, this side, and the loop on your hook. And we're just going to continue this all the way up. So next stitch, back loop only, right side, back loop only on your left side, yarn over, pull through all of your loops, next stitch, back loop only, yarn over, pull through everything, next, back loop, yarn over, pull through everything, and go all the way down your square until they are connected. The last stitch that you put together should be the first chain on both sides, and you should have one chain left over. Okay? From here, you can cut off your yarn, yarn over, pull through, just pull it all the way off. Now your squares are connected. This is what it looks like. Next, I'm going to grab this square and I want to connect these two right up this seam so that I have 3 in a row. And it's going to be the exact same process. After you've done that, you can cut your yarn again and finish it off in the same way. Now we have our 3 squares connected. We're going to grab our 4th square, and this one is going to start at this corner. It's going to connect these sides here. It's going to connect across the middle, then it's going to connect across these sides. So we should start with these 2 corners. I'll do the same thing, make a slip knot, put it on my hook. I'm going to grab the chain, this corner, just the back loop, grab the chain of this corner, just the back loop. Yarn's going to go up through the middle, and we'll start connecting. Coming up to the end, you should have one chain left on this side. And on this side, you're going to have 2 chains left. Let's go through there. And then we're out of stitches on this square. So I'm going to move to my next square where I should also have 1 chain at the very beginning. So I'll go there, back loop only. And I'll continue onto this side of the square into my second chain in the corner stitch. Go through the back loop, yarn over, and then just continue around the corner. Same thing's going to happen here. I have 1 chain left in this corner. Go through there. 2 chains over here. Go through the first one. I'm out of stitches on this side, so moving on to the next square where I should have 1 chain open in the corner. That chain is going to go to the 1 chain open on this corner. And then continue closing up this side. All right, so that's the end of our connecting. We will leave our yarn attached and continue from here, but this is what your project should look like. If you look at it, it's kind of bowl, but one side is open. So this would be the top of your head right here. These would be your ears, and this is the back of your head. Moving on, where we have our yarn connected right now, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to start doing a row of single crochet around the bottom of my work. So, first single crochet I'm going to do is just in this chain spot right here. And then I'm going to single crochet across, 1 single crochet in every double crochet stitch. When you come up to the portion where your squares have been connected, what you're going to do is 1 stitch in this space, 1 stitch right here in the middle, and then 1 stitch in this space before you continue with the 1 stitch in every double crochet. So I just did a single crochet in my last double crochet. I'm going to do 1 right here in the chain space. I'm going to do 1 right here in the middle. of the connection. Okay, and then 1 in the next chain space, and continue with 1 single crochet on top of every double crochet. Coming up on the corner here, you're going to end at the corner with 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space. And then we're going to make a chain to connect these 2 corners, and this will be where your chin is. So I'm going to start chaining. I'm going to make a total of 24 chains. After you've done 24 chains, go ahead and go over to the other corner right here and start with a single crochet in the chain 2 spot. And then just keep going along the bottom until you get back to where we started the single crochets. We started our single crochet in this chain 2 spot over here, so I need to do a single crochet in this chain 2 space, and then I need to put 1 in the middle where we've connected our squares. And then you can go ahead and slip stitch into the top of your first single crochet to finish that round. This is what it should look like right now. From here, we're going to begin our ribbing that goes around your neck. So for the ribbing, I'm going to be changing over to my 5mm hook, just so that it is a bit more snug and close stitched. I'm going to start with a chain, and I am going to chain 16. There you go. Your chain should be about 3.5 to 4 inches long. From here, we're going to be working single crochet back loop only ribbing. I'm going to turn my work because we're going to be working this way. And I'm going to start back on my chain with some single crochets. I chained 16, so I should have 15 stitches since we're going to skip the first chain right here. And I'll start with single crochets. Do a single crochet in every chain up until we get to the last one. Now right here I have 1 chain left. That's my last stitch. I'm going to start a single crochet. So I'm going to go through, yarn over, and pull through. And then on the second pull through, I'm going to go into my next open stitch. Not this one, because that's where we started the chain, but this next one here. I'm going to put my hook through there. And then I'm going to yarn over, pull through, and then pull through the other 2 loops on my hook to finish that single crochet. What that does is it connects our row of single crochets onto our project, and it also finishes off the last single crochet. So to start the next row, I need to move up to the next stitch. So I'm going to put my hook into my next open stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through to do a slip stitch. Now we've moved up 1 row, so I can turn my work and start my next row of single crochets. The first stitch, I'm just going to do a regular single crochet. So I will go through both loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's my single crochet. For the rest of the stitches, except for the last one, I'm going to be doing the back loop only. So looking at the top of your stitches, put your hook through just the back loop of your single crochet. And keep doing that all the way up the row until you get to the last stitch. And in the last stitch, I'm just going to do a regular single crochet, not the back loop only. Go through both loops and do a single crochet. Okay, I'm going to turn my work and continue with the ribbing. First stitch is always going to be a regular one. Next stitch, you can start the back loop only. So I'm going to go through the back loop and do single crochets all the way down until I get to my last stitch. Once I get to my last stitch, I need to connect it to the next open stitch on my hood. So I'm going to go through the back loop, yarn over and pull through once, and then I want to connect it right here. So I'll go into my next open stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through 2 to finish the single crochet. And there you go. This is just going to repeat all the way around. So to start my next row, I need to slip stitch up 1, turn my work, and continue. I'm going to be making this ribbing all the way around the bottom. It's going to go in a big circle all the way across here, around the chain, and all the way back to where you started. So here we are. I did the ribbing all the way around in a circle, and this is kind of where we've ended. I'm going to cut off the yarn, leave a long tail so that we can sew this flap closed here. And that is exactly what we're going to do. So you're going to need your tapestry needle. I'm going to pull this out. Thread up my tapestry needle. And I am just going to do a whip stitch to close this up all the way up through here. And you should have the same number of stitches on each side, so just make sure that you are closing them with the corresponding stitches. The first stitch goes with the first stitch all the way down to the end. Okay, there we go. It's all sewed together. I'm going to take my end, bring it to the inside of my work, and weave it in. Okay, now we are going to do some rows of single crochet around here, which is the face opening. I'm going to continue with my black yarn, and I'm going to switch back to my 6mm hook. So first I'm going to start with slip stitch, put that on my hook, and then I can find a spot on the edge of my hood, just anywhere is fine. And I will start with a single crochet. So just go right through there and do a single crochet. I'm going to be single crocheting in every stitch around, just like we did on the first row of single crochets on the bottom of the hood. Once you come to a part where they are joined, make sure you remember one in this space, one in the middle on the seam, and one in this space on the other side. Single crochet, one in the middle, single crochet, and continue. All right, so I've come to the corner here, and I would like to do a decrease. I did a single crochet on my last double right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my hook through the chain 2 spot, pull through, and I'm going to put my hook in the first stitch down here. Pull through, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So I did a single crochet 2 together on the corner, and I'll continue my single crochets across here. Same thing in the other corner. I'm going to be single crocheting 2 together right here. Okay, come all the way back around to where I started the single crochet round. So I'm going to do a slip stitch to connect it. And then from here, I want to do another row of single crochets. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my work. I'm going to do a chain 1 first, turn, and I'm going to do another row of single crochets. I'm just going to do one in every stitch, not doing any decreases or anything like that. Once you've made it all the way around, go ahead and slip stitch to the first to close the round. I'm going to chain one, I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to do one final row of single crochet around my edges. Once you get all the way back around, you can go ahead and cut off your yarn. Weave in your ends. There's going to be a few more ends inside your hood to weave in as well. So finish all those off and then we will be completely done. After you have weaved in all your ends, we are done. So here is your finished granny square hood or balaclava. That is all for this tutorial. So I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you do make this and enjoyed it, give this video a thumbs up. If you post any photos on Instagram or anywhere else, tag me. I would love to see it. And that's all. So once again, thank you and subscribe.